Hey guys, this is Ken from JazTime.com, and today we'll be comparing two models of the Rolex Explorer 2. The one on my left here is the older version of the Explorer 2, reference number 16570, while the newer version on my right here is reference number 216570. Okay, we'll be comparing the price, the dial, the bezel, the case, the crown, the bracelet, and we'll talk about the movement towards the end as well. Okay, so the price as of November 2016 for the older version of the Explorer 2 is unavailable because it has been discontinued to make way for that newer one. So you cannot get this watch at any retail Rolex store anymore. But however, you can still buy this watch for as low as $3,900 at JazTime.com. For the newer version of the Explorer 2, you can buy this at the retail Rolex stores for $8,100, or you can purchase it for as low as $6,400 at JazTime.com. Okay, so let's go ahead and compare those dials now. So the dials have a very nice white, polar white dial with minor changes in the text located here. We have the black on the older version and orange on the newer version. While also the GMT handles have changed color as well. The older has a red, and the newer opts for a outlined orange GMT hand. Okay, and for the dial, the main difference is the change of size in the markers. As you can see on the newer version, they're much larger, much more readable, and that's because they've added the Rolex Maxi dial, which means that the markers are 30% larger than the older version to make it more easier for viewing. As that these are sports watches, mainly these Explorers were made for cave exploring, so that luminosity, that 8-hour luminosity that comes out of these markers really shows up very well on a newer version, and it's much appreciated as well. Okay, so let's move on to the bezel now. The bezel is made out of that very durable in-house 904L steel that Rolex makes. It has a 24-hour cycle graduated all around the bezel, and it just really catches catches a light very nicely. There's not really too much of a difference here. It's just that the numbering is more spaced out on the newer version, as it's just a little bit larger. Okay. The purpose of the 24-hour cycle on the bezel is to help for the tracking of additional time zone. I can demonstrate that very simply. I'm going to go ahead and put the old one down here. So we're going to use it on the newer one. So you just have to unscrew the crown, very simple. Bring it to the very end, and you can just adjust the GMT hand to where you need. So let's just say you want to track the time in London. Okay, so let's say London time is currently 12 o'clock, or at the 12 o'clock position, or 12:05. That's fine. You can actually just adjust the hour hand by itself and just shift that over. Let's just say you want to track the Philippines time. Well, the Philippines is 7 hours ahead from London, so you would just have to move the hour hand 7 hours ahead. Very simple, very easy, very simple, very easy to use. As you can see there. Bam, 7 hours ahead, and now you would know the time. You would be tracking the times in Philippines while you still knowing the time in London. Okay, so let me go ahead and compare the cases now. So the cases have a very nice. The cases are very nice, still made of that 904L steel from Rolex. The older model has a 40 millimeter. It's 40 millimeters in diameter. That's from my index finger to my thumb here. While the newer version is 42 millimeters in diameter, once again, from my index finger to my thumb here. So you're looking at this and you're probably wondering, well, the Explorer 2 looks a lot more bigger than 2 millimeters. Well, that's also because the case on the Explorer 2 runs the super case, meaning it has a much more larger case. The lugs at the bottom and at the top are much thicker, much larger. The crown protector lugs are also thicker and larger as well. Overall, it gives a watch a much more beefier and a little more heavier look to it. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. If you have a larger hand, then that would definitely be the thing for you to match up. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the side profiles now. So you can see these are the side profiles of the watches. The Explorer 2 has a little bit higher profile than the older Explorer 2. However, they both would probably fit under the suit cuff very nicely. The Explorer, the older version, would probably fit much more easily than the newer one, as the newer one is a little bit more thicker than the older one. They have a very nice high polish on the side as well to add a little more shine to it. For the crown here, the Explorer 2, the older version, has a smaller crown than the newer version. Obviously, that's because of that super case as well, adding more width to the case, and having that crown be a little bit bigger to match. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the bracelets now. So the bracelets are quite nice, very nice. They both pretty much look the same in terms of just looks. They both run an oyster bracelet. However, there is one major difference between them, and that's that the old one is running the older style oyster bracelet, and then the new one, obviously the newer style oyster bracelet. And what that means is, I'm putting the new one down first. With the old one, this is the old Explorer. The links have a little more give to them. They stretch a little bit more. You can see that nice bend, gives much more breathing room to your wrists if it swells up a little bit, and that's because the center links are hollow. So that hollowness gives that extra wiggle room on the bracelet. However, over time, and not a short time, but over a long time, the bracelet will start to stretch over the use of the years. Okay, so that's a downside to that. And on a newer style bracelet, the center links are solid, they're filled. Look at that, there's no wiggle room, very compact, very nice. And this will keep the same bracelet shape throughout its lifetime. So that's another great upgrade to the watch. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the clasp now. Okay. So as you can see, very different class, same type of feature. They're both safety foiling oyster class. It's just the older one obviously is obviously older. It tries to match the pattern of the links by adding that kind of itching of the lug of that 3-piece links onto the clasp itself. And it's very simple and easy to use. Just that's popping out the safety, and then you pop out the safety lock, or the oyster, like that. And this is the clasp blades. Now let me do the same for this one. Okay, so with the newer one, same thing. Safety out, oyster pops off, and there you have it. These are the two clasp blades, the clasp blades of the watch. Okay, so on my left here we have the older version. It kind of has like this kind of tuna can kind of feel to it. It looks almost flimsy and not durable at all, but this actually is very, very durable, and there hasn't really been any complaints about this ever giving out or ever having any durability problems with this class. So as flimsy as it looks, it's still very, very great. And the one on the right here is the new updated class. As you can see, it has a nice satin finish inner portion with the Rolex name embossed on there as well. It's also a little bit thicker as well. As you can see, that's the thickness of the new one compared to the thickness of the old one. Okay, so one thing I'd like to mention about these two watches is behind the clasp, we have the extension